As we head into 2019, I wanted to discuss what the next 3D Mario could be and when we could potentially see it. As far as I know, we don't have any information about it or even any potential DLC to expand the world. As far as 3D Marios go, we generally only see one per Nintendo home console generation. We had Super Mario 64 for the Nintendo 64, we had Super Mario Sunshine for the GameCube, Super Mario 3D World for the Wii U, but for the Nintendo Wii we actually had two 3D Marios, Super Mario Galaxy 1 and Super Mario Galaxy 2, the sequel. I think we are going to see a Mario Odyssey 2 or sequel for the Nintendo Switch, or maybe another 3D Mario altogether, but I do believe it's going to be on the Nintendo Switch, especially since Nintendo has said that they plan to keep the Switch around longer than typical console cycles. So I think it makes sense that we would see another 3D Mario. Now yes, we are getting New Super Mario Bros. Deluxe January 11th, but I'm specifically talking about 3D Mario games. We may get more information in the supposed Nintendo Direct this month, but we don't know anything as of right now. So let's dive into this. I still fully believe we are going to see some big Mario Odyssey DLC, maybe even potentially this year in 2019. I thought they would have done this sooner, but my thinking is that they gave us a lot of free smaller DLC like costumes, hint art, and Luigi's Balloon World, and are saving some more substantial DLC like New Kingdoms for a better time. Maybe they will try to supplement some extra kingdoms with the holiday 2019 lineup with Pokemon this year. Or I could be completely wrong, and they are just focusing on creating a whole new experience for Mario, and that's why we haven't seen anything yet. Maybe we could be seeing a new 3D Mario hitting the Switch in 2020 or 2021. A whole new experience would definitely be awesome and I'd be all for it. However, I feel like a Mario Odyssey sequel makes a ton of sense, and here's a few reasons why. The first thing is that it's one of the highest rated games critically, got a 97 on Metacritic, which was the same as Mario Galaxy 1 and Mario Galaxy 2 actually. So releasing a similar game or continuation to the concept makes sense, since it was such a huge success. And just for reference, Mario 64 only had a 94 on Metacritic, Sunshine had a 92, and Super Mario 3D World had a 93. Not to say those are bad scores, those are obviously really good, but 97, 98 are like really high scores. Not to mention Super Mario Odyssey was also nominated for Game of the Year in 2017 and actually lost to Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. And it was also nominated for other categories and actually won Best Family Game of the Year. Basically, Odyssey was a great game. Another thing is that the capture mechanic was such an innovative idea and it works really well, and I think people really love that in the game. I don't think Nintendo is quite done with this capture mechanic. Maybe they can give it a twist, but the core mechanic of capturing enemies I think will return. Finally, Mario Odyssey created new characters that are now beloved and make sense to be in the next 3D Mario. Cappy was a very well received new main character, and so it would be upsetting for him to just never return again. He almost seems like a staple to the franchise now, at least it feels that way to me. I think fans would like to see him again. So if we end up getting a Super Mario Odyssey sequel, what could they do with it? Mario Galaxy 2 was in the same world as Galaxy 1, and it introduced new power-ups, new characters, new galaxies, and best of all it had a rideable Yoshi. For some reason I was so shocked that Yoshi was not rideable in Odyssey, by the way, and that he was rather a capture. Maybe I shouldn't have been so surprised, but I just didn't like it. I want them to bring back a rideable Yoshi. Anyways, I feel an Odyssey sequel could do something similar to what Mario Galaxy 1 and 2 did, by expanding the world, adding new items, characters, enemies, etc. I would love to see them continue and maybe even evolve the capture mechanic. Obviously, new enemy types and captures are a given, but maybe they could complement it with another new ability. One idea could be to bring back some of the regular power-ups, like super mushrooms, fire flowers, etc., and somehow combine those with the capture mechanic. One easy example could be getting a fire flower and capturing a bullet bill makes the bullet bill on fire, so they could add puzzles around that new ability. Maybe you have to light torches to open a room, or maybe you need the fire around the bullet bill to fight a large ice type enemy or boss. Obviously I'm no game designer and these aren't the best ideas, but you get the gist. Maybe Cappy could start by learning something completely new, who knows. Knowing Nintendo, they're probably going to do something we haven't even thought of yet that's going to completely surprise us. Other things that I think should return would be 2D parts, but maybe they could make them a little more fleshed out and substantial. I think the 2D sections were fun and liked by most people, I also felt the variety of collectibles was perfect. You had your regular coins, you had your kingdom specific coins, and you also had your power moons. Granted, I think there were too many power moons and too many of them were too easy, but that's another discussion. Now I also think there are things from older 3D Marios that they could bring back. Mario Galaxy 2 let you play as Luigi in the post game, and he was faster, he had higher jumps, but he also had less traction, so he was harder to control. Bring that back and even introduce maybe Toad or others to be playable. Maybe not right from the start, but maybe do it similar to like Donkey Kong 64. You had to unlock characters, but you did so pretty quickly, and each level actually had certain parts where only certain characters could get to, and they had their own collectibles in each level as well. I'm not saying do exactly that, but bring something similar to the next 3D Mario. They could bring back the multiplayer aspects that we saw in Super Mario 3D World on the Wii U. They could even maybe add online multiplayer, which probably wouldn't happen, but that would be really cool. By far for me personally, I want to see moons or stars or shine sprites, whatever the new main collectible will be in the next Mario. I want to see those be more fleshed out like they are in Super Mario Sunshine, and even Mario 64 to some degree. The reason I love Super Mario Sunshine so much is that each shine sprite felt like an adventure. Each shine sprite was like a separate side quest or mini game. And I know the way the levels were set up is that you had each episode, and so it wasn't really open like Mario Odyssey is, but I think they could sort of combine the two concepts. Keep Mario Odyssey style like open for each level, but make some of the moons or shine sprites, whatever, make them a little more fleshed out. As far as story goes, maybe they can continue it somehow. Maybe something happens to Peach as she continues her travels to the kingdoms. She gets captured. Maybe she finds some interesting new kingdom. She discovers something. Maybe something happens to Mario in the Odyssey as they are traveling, and Peach has to rescue him, so we play as Peach instead of Mario. That's never going to happen, but just some ideas. So what if they don't do a sequel? Now if they are going to completely shake things up, maybe they could give Mario the Zelda Breath of the Wild treatment. Make the game more open, less linear, maybe add some light RPG elements, since we still have no word of a new Paper Mario. But for me, the story in Mario games isn't necessarily all that interesting or substantial. If you love the story, that's great, but for me, in Mario games, it's not really something I care about all that much. I definitely liked the story in Mario Odyssey, but it wasn't something that kept me on the edge of my seat and pushed me forward through the game. I mostly wanted to just stay in each kingdom and sort of play around in the large sandboxes that they were. I wasn't really in any hurry to continue the story. Either way, I feel a Mario Odyssey sequel makes the most sense. As Nintendo is trying to prolong the lifespan of the Switch, which I truly hope they do, I fully believe we are going to see bigger first-party titles more frequently by them as they reuse assets or engines so we can get the games sooner. I mean, 5+ years for a Zelda or Mario game is just crazy. I'm sure we would all love for more games sooner, so long as they are still quality titles that are not rushed. But what do you guys think? Do you think we're going to see a sequel or an entirely new adventure? Let me know in the comments below.